We do a lot of planning in the city of Houston. This is about deciding what the city of Houston wants to be and how we get there. Houston has changed so dramatically in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years. 3.5 million people who will be here over the next 20 years. We have to figure out what to do with them. We're always playing catch up. And the faster this city grows, the farther behind we get and the more catch up we have to play. And we are not the only entity in this space. There's some great things happening between the city of Houston and the county, between the city of Houston and our ISDs. Think what we can do if we really work to align our goals and objectives.
The project, as we expect it today, has 6 main parts, and I'm going to go through each one briefly. The first one is a vision statement. We expect this vision statement to address every aspect of life that impacts citizen satisfaction. The second component is what I like to call our planning coordination tool, to create a map that would be driven by the city's mapping systems, our geographic information systems, that would identify the plans of all of the various organizations that are going on in the city. This is something unique. We've seen things like it in other cities, but never to this scale. The third piece of this plan is performance indicators. They help to clarify those high-level vision and goal statements that are admittedly fuzzy. But by having performance indicators, we can start to define success in a way that everyone can understand. Second, indicators tell us where we're doing well and maybe those areas where we need a little extra work. The fourth and fifth components of this plan are what we call the neighborhood enhancement and growth and development strategies. It would be good to know how we are doing on education, how we're doing on public safety, how we're doing on access to parks or to transit. We have lots of tools in our toolbox, but what we haven't done is stepped back and reviewed all of these tools, documented them in one place, and begun a high-level assessment of how effective they are today. The final piece of the general plan that we're proposing is an implementation strategy. Gives us that consensus on next steps, allows us to move forward quickly on the activities we need to follow in order to accomplish our vision and goals. Now let's talk about you. I want to talk about the leadership structure for this plan. We have 3 committees. So the first is the steering committee for the project. The purpose of the steering committee is to focus on the process, to make sure that we are following the right process in the development of the plan. They'll also be providing input on the content. The second committee is the stakeholder committee. This is the largest group. And in fact, most of you in this room are probably on this committee. The purpose of the stakeholder group is to provide input on the content of the plan. And finally, the technical advisory committee. The Technical Advisory Committee is comprised of leaders from various government organizations and city departments. A number of city directors or their delegates are on this committee, as well as organizations like Metro and TxDOT. The idea here is to ensure that the project is in line with our current processes and work products to make sure we're being consistent with what we're doing today. We have a lot to do between now and next year. The project will be led by the Planning and Development Department, and we will be contacting you soon with more details, including a meeting schedule. So look for that. Thank you all very much.
It's not going to answer everything. It's not de facto zoning. We're not going to tell people what you can and cannot do. What we're going to do together is define what the future of Houston is 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and if we can think far enough into the future, 30 and 40 years from now. You are here because you have been touched in one way or another in this process, and we have given you a heads up. We expect everyone in this room to be a part of the process going forward and to help us touch other people who aren't yet in the room.